Hey guys, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're doing another episode of the Sword and Sorcery Book Club. Today we're doing a Cimmerian news roundup. I think that's what I called them last time. So I'm just going to go over a few different kind of stories or topics that have been coming up in the last couple weeks, and I just want to talk about the channel a little bit as well. So let's start with the happiest one, I guess, maybe. It's that today is Robert E. Howard's birthday. January 22nd, 1906 is when he was born. He died July 11th, I think, or maybe June 11th, 1936. And it was a very short lifespan, right? But this year would have been 119. I don't think he would have lived that long regardless. But it's interesting to think about this creator, right? I'm a recent fan of his, right? And I quite like the way he writes stories. I quite love the enduring nature of his characters in all of these things. But I think the most interesting aspect to me is that, by and large, Robert E. Howard, or Robert Irving Howard, is a bit of a forgotten author. And only in certain circles is he beloved, right? And that's interesting to me because in those certain circles, in these niche areas of fandom or of literature or whatever you want to call it, this guy that only ever reached 30 is one of the most impactful or interesting or valuable writers to people that have lived longer lives than he ever dreamed of, right? They have lived beyond ages undreamed of by Robert E. Howard, right? To use his own vernacular there. And that's pretty special to me because, like, when you think of, like, classics, you're like, oh, well, I mean, of course those things are still remembered even though the author has been dead for, like, 400 years because they are, you know, inherently assumed to be valuable by society, right? And there are countless other stories that could have been known to be as valuable and they just weren't for whatever reason, and they have disappeared. And there's countless authors that have never seen the light of day since their death, right? And still somehow Robert E. Howard is like Conan in a certain way. He has endured past oblivion, past the death of the author, past the death of interest in his stories, and he has seen this resurgence over and over again, right? And I think it's really cool and really special and interesting, right? And it's cool that through this interest in this long forgotten author and the characters they created, there is a community built around him, right? And around the interest in his stories and stuff. And I think it's just cool and very interesting, right? That's not something special in any particular way. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of authors and people that you would assume are forgotten, but somehow aren't, right? But I don't know who those are. I just know Robert E. Howard, right? And so I find it meaningful in some way, right? So that's story number one, I guess. Number two is that with the LA fires that have been going on, and the fact that most of the American workers for Titan live down in Los Angeles or near the area, and their offices are located there, Gerardo Stefano, who is a great Conan artist, and he's regularly featured in covers and in issues of Savage Sword, has created an artwork to represent the heroism of the people that are dealing with and helping get rid of all of the fires in Los Angeles. And he has made this special drawing, and Titan has released it through their website to buy. And it's special because you can buy a bunch of different sizes, and all of the proceeds that are given or made through it will be given to the LA fire departments and the different people that are helping there. You can also directly donate to different relief efforts, but I think it's kind of cool that you can pay for this thing that's a valuable collectible item and know that your money is going towards the fire department and people in LA that need help, right? But I just wanted to mention that in case you guys are interested. I'll leave a link down to it below. I think that they should use this opportunity to do something similar and maybe open up a humble bundle of Conan stories to help out with the LA relief effort, right? I think that'd be really cool. I think it would be interesting, and it'd be a nice way for people to collect all of Conan in some way or fashion, even if it is digitally, right? And the thing with Humble Bundle is that you can adjust the donation so that it all goes to the organization instead of just a portion of it, right? So I think that'd be cool, but I don't know how Humble Bundle works. Maybe you had to wait in line or something for it to be available. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that was story number 2. Gerardo Stefano made a special art print, and it's being distributed through Titan's, or actually Conan's merch store in order to help bring some relief and some money into the different people that are trying to help out with all of the LA issues that have been going on. And the thing is, each print basically costs either $15 to, I think, $40 is the most expensive one. And then you have to pay shipping on top of that, and shipping is $10. It should be pretty fast shipping, so you should get it pretty easily. And I think there is an international version that's $20. But you can't match it with other things. You have to buy only the print. I guess you can buy multiple prints, and maybe that minimizes the shipping price. But you can't combine it with other items from the store, which is a bit of a shame in my opinion, but I think it makes sense. I'm sure that it's for a very specific and meaningful reason, right? That I'm just not aware of. So yeah, that's it for that. Third story here is that Howard Andrew Jones, creator of the Hannibal Chronicles and a big fan of Conan and Robert E. Howard, recently passed away. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but I met him at Howard Days. I had a nice conversation with him. I had him record a special little snippet kind of showing off or maybe enticing readers to read his Hannibal Chronicles, and I got to buy the first book off of him and get him to sign it and stuff. And so that was really special. But a few weeks after the end of Howard Days, I think maybe a month or two afterwards, his friends or someone on his team or someone that he knew put out a statement saying that Howard Andrew Jones was suffering from very severe brain cancer, and that his life was probably not going to last very long beyond that point. And the community gathered to create a fund for him and his family so that when he passes, his wife would have all of the resources necessary to help her along through this, right? And I can't remember how much was gathered, but it was a big amount. It was very meaningful, and I think some of it did go to try to help him either get more comfortable and try to get treatment and stuff like that. But ultimately, it seems like it wasn't it didn't work, right? And so he recently passed away, I think a few days ago. I can't remember exactly what day, but yeah, I think it was Friday last week. I think the 17th. And it's very sad. I didn't have a strong connection with him. I barely had met him. I've never read any of his books. But I know that he was a meaningful pillar in the Robert E. Howard community. He was a scholar of sword and sorcery. He had been trying to put together a book detailing the history of sword and sorcery. And he was an author that was pretty cool and meaningful and a good guy. And so I'm very sad to hear about his passing. My heart goes out to his family and all the people that are around him that were close to him. I hope that you guys, are able to process your grief and deal with it the best you can. I'm not religious, so I can't offer any religious-based platitudes, right? I don't know if he's in a better place or anything like that, but I know that he'll be remembered and that people are deeply saddened by this fact, and maybe that offers a bit of comfort, right? So, yeah, and I guess that's all there is to say about that. I don't know what else to follow up with in terms of that, and let's raise a cup for the dog brother and hope the best for his family. So those are the 3 bits of news that I had. Some other stuff in the community has been going on recently, I think. Stage and Dogs made a video kind of giving us a review of his year so far, or the previous year, kind of in review, which I think is the great video type. It's not one that I'm interested in making because I make that for my main channel, and there's no point in doing it for this channel since it's only been going on for like 6 months. But I thought it was interesting. He did mention a few cool things. He is going to come down to Cross Plains, Texas this year for Howard Days. I don't think that Howard Days has been announced yet. Like, I don't know what days it's going to be on, but I will also be there. I'm trying to see if I can maybe get a hotel this time and just kind of drive there and then come back 3 days later. Because even though the 3-hour drive isn't that bad, once or twice, it was kind of annoying to have to leave early enough that I missed out on the evening parts of the event, right? So I would like to stay this year and kind of experience them once or twice maybe, and then maybe next year I won't do that anymore. But I do want to at least spend a full day there this year, and we'll just have to see. Maybe that just means I have to drive back really, really late at night. I would like to not do that because driving on empty roads between civilization is not necessarily all that interesting or safe sounding to me, especially because there is a giant stretch of time between Cross Plains and Dallas where there's literally nothing. Like, maybe there's a gas station, but it's pretty barren, and there's literally no one there except maybe a rancher here and there somewhere. And if something happens, I'm not gonna be able to get help, right? So I don't really want to deal with that. So I was hoping that maybe I could find lodging near Cross Plains, Texas. I know there is no hotel in Cross Plains, but I think there's one in Bronzewood, or Braunwood, whatever the town next door is called, or maybe in Abilene, which would still be a bit of a drive, but not significantly. It would be like 1 or 2 hours, or maybe less than that, and that's much more accessible than having to do the 3.5 hour trek down to Dallas, or from Dallas down to Cross Plains and back, right? So we'll see, but just wanted to mention that as well. And then in terms of the channel, I'm obviously back on the channel. I had been wanting to get back earlier, but stuff happened, and I just wasn't feeling it. I haven't really been motivated enough to do this, and reading has not been working out for me the last couple of days. And it's like, I'm fine. Everything is good. It's just I've been lacking a bit of motivation lately, just personally. I think that's just because since I was on break for so long, I got used to not having to do anything, and then coming back and having to do stuff takes a bit of momentum to get started. And all of that energy was being spent on the main channel and not this one. And now that I have a reason to talk about stuff, I'm back. And so I should be back with a video featuring Savage Sword of Conan number 6 on Friday. Next week, maybe on Wednesday, I'll have a review for the Battle of Blackstone, the whole series. And then I'm working with Jim Zub, to try to get an interview with him in February. I was supposed to do it here in January, but between all the things that have been happening around the world and in life, I just didn't really feel that it was the right time. And so I never reached out to him about getting something done in January. But I reached out to him a few days ago about doing something in February. He said he has some events, so we have to plan out around his schedule. But it should be happening. And then hopefully that means that in March, I'll get around to talking to Jeff Shanks again. And maybe I'll see if I can try to get Pat Searcher to come on. I don't think that's going to happen. I've not talked to anyone about it, but it'd be really cool to get him on and talk about Solomon Kane. But maybe I had to read a bit more Solomon Kane to really understand the character before I talk to him about that. So we'll see. But it's very, that's kind of a dream I have right now. It's not really set in stone or anything, so don't quote me on it. But I can for sure guarantee Jim Sub and Jeff Shanks will show up on the channel at some point before the end of the first quarter of the year, right? So yeah, those are kind of all of the things I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys found something meaningful or useful here. I'll leave some links down below to different things that I mentioned today, including the Conan store, so you guys can get that print to help the LAPD, the LA Fire Department, FD, right? LAFD. I'll leave a link to Howard Andrew Jones' page on Facebook if you guys want to leave a message for him and his family, or for his family to see. And I'll leave a link down to Stygian Dogs and Jim Sub's YouTube channels as well. And I think Jeff Shanks has a YouTube channel too, so I guess I'll leave a link down to him as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys later.